What's up, guys? It's Fix It Daniel, and we are back on the scooter. I can't get my hand over there. We're going back on the scooter again today, guys. We got something pretty cool, something that we've been talking about, and I had mentioned in the other video. We are going to be upgrading the carburetor on this bike. We are going to upgrade it to the right spec this time, and we are going to be getting it installed and hopefully getting the bike running. So that is what we are going to be getting into. So without further ado, let's get into it. So thanks for watching, guys. If you guys have not seen any of my stuff on this scooter, please go down and check it out. I've also done a few other videos on the car and my wife's car and many other videos. So please go check them out, like and subscribe, and show your love and support. But today we are getting on the scooter. I got a new carburetor that just came in that we are going to be getting installed. I'm going to show you guys what it is so that way we can get this thing in. So let us show you. So alright, guys, so we have a brand spanking new Mikuni carburetor that's a 21 millimeter. I have a nib carburetor that's a 28 millimeter, and I did explain in my other video that why I am upgrading this. So we are going to be getting rid of this 28 millimeter nib carburetor. We're not throwing it away. We are keeping it. We're just not going to be using it. We are going to be using this. Why? Because the 28 millimeter is bogging. No matter how many jets I go up, no matter how much adjustments I get, it is bogging. So we are going to try and go to a 21 millimeter and go with that. And I think that'll take care of the bog. Like I said before in the other video, I did some research and I talked to a good friend of mine, a good buddy, a good YouTube buddy, Rolling Wrench, and he agreed with me that the 21 millimeter was the perfect size for that. For this scooter, even though we're big boring this, we're still going to use this 21 millimeter because this is the right spec for this bike. The 28 millimeter nib carburetor is for like a 200cc scooter or bike, so that's a little overpowered. But this is supposed to be the perfect size, and we got plenty and plenty of jets, so I'm not really worried about it. So this will be the perfect one to go in there, even though we got some upgrades and stuff. So that's what we're going to do, and that's what we're going to show you next. Okay, so let's get into this Mikuni carburetor that we got from Amazon. So comes with a sticker, kind of a beat up sticker, but it's a sticker. Comes with a pilot jet and 2 extra jets and an extra needle. Some hoses. So I got some hoses here, probably for the fuel line, some ventings, and the meat and the potatoes. So this is the 21 millimeter Mikuni carburetor. It's pretty different design. I kind of like this one because it kind of resembles the nib with the black and the red. That's why I kind of picked this color. I could have picked any other color. Could have picked even a monochrome rainbow color, but this one kind of fit perfectly. I kind of like it. So still the same slide pull, different setup, but still the same slide pull. Same hole. Got the choke. Comes with a few more hoses. Believe this one is the hose for the fuel, hose for a vent, and I think another hose for a vent. I think this one we can plug up. I think it doesn't matter either way. I think it doesn't. Yeah, it doesn't matter. Like whatever side you want to use, and then you got your line here for the fuel, and you got your idle screw and your mixture screw, and then you got this little line going into it. Pretty interesting, but it's a pretty cool setup. It's pretty actually really nice, and this is the cool feature I love is that it has a actual nut to where I don't have to keep taking this off every time I change my pilot. I can just crack this open, and change it out and then put it right back on without having to worry about getting my gaskets all covered in gasoline and having them warp on me. So this is pretty cool. So let me grab my Allen tool, and we'll open it up and we'll show you the inside. Okay, so we got this off. So we're just gonna, oh, forgot, you actually have to pull this line before you do that. Either end, doesn't matter. Alright, so we're gonna get this off. Bowl's nice and clean. Let that fall so I don't lose it. Really cool setup. Same design, just like the rest of them. Floater bowl is a little bit up, but we're going to leave that where it is. It sits perfectly. It sits a little off, just a little bit. It's not a completely flush like some people say it needs to be like that, but I'm gonna leave it for the time being, and then if we need to fix it, we can fix it just by bending this little tab, this little flat tab. We can bend that down or up to get the light rail level, but we're not going to worry about that right now. So, grab my adjustable and flathead here. So, this is a little bit of a different setup from the nib. So it's quite the same, but just a little bit different. So here is the here's the main jet, and then here's the pilot screw way down here, where the difference is that the pilot screw is sitting up a little higher on the nib, but it's not a big deal. So this actually comes starting with a, I believe it's a 38. It's a 38. I know the nib was like a 40 or 38, 48, whichever. I'm not too for sure. But I'm just thinking off the top of my head. So this is a 38. I don't know if you can see that very well. I could try and come in. Yeah, you can see the 3 and then the 8. So this is a 38. It comes with a 38 and a 35. I'm going to go to a 38. So what we're going to do is we're going to go to the max on these. I'm going to go to the max on the main and the max on the pilot, which is not that much. So it was only 35 for the pilot. That was the lowest that comes in that kit. So this is so basically this right here is a 35, and then obviously the 38 was right here. So I'm gonna do a 38, and I believe these right here, I don't know if you can see them. One's a 105, and the other one, I have to look myself. Can't see what the other one is. Oh, 110. So it's a 105, 110. So we're going to use a 35 as far as our pilot, just to give us a little more extra oomph at the beginning. And then this main is, I believe it's a 118 or a 115. Can't remember. 115. I don't know if this will focus. So it's just a 115 on there. So that's what we're going to use. This is the max. So as you notice, these are a little different from these little ones. I'll show you. So if you notice, stay. So if you notice, these jets are a little different from these jets. Size is different and everything, but they still fit. I actually even test fitted it into the Mikuni. These little ones actually still fit these big ones. They're not the difference in thread size, they're just difference in size itself. Now, I don't know if I can use these if I need to go up to like a 120 or something like that, if I have to go up in jets, because this is the max. Now this is 115. This is the max I can go before I have to order another set like this. So I might either just order another set like this, or I'll just use these, and they still work, but I don't know what the difference would be, just because this is just a little bit longer, and then this was a tiny and short. But I don't know if that makes a difference or not. If someone knows, you can put a link in the description. But yeah. So I got plenty of jets. I got plenty of jets now. But but we're going to use the 115. We're going to start with what it comes with. The reason why I'm going up to a 115 and not starting with the 105 is because I have a cold air intake. So a lot of people were saying with these that you would want to go up onto a bigger jet because we are running a cold air intake. So we got a cold air intake, and we're going to be getting an exhaust soon. We're running a big bore kit. So we got all our numbers running in the direction of going bigger. So I figured since we got the cold air, we're going to have to go bigger anyway, just to give a little extra fuel. So I figured, why not just go with the 115 with the max? Because eventually we're going to be getting an exhaust, and then we're going to be putting on a big bore kit. So if anything, I may have to get some more jets to go up higher. So basically we're going up 2 sizes. It started off with a 105, and it had a 110 and then a 115. So a lot of people were saying too, if you got performance cold air intake or exhaust, you're going to have more air, and even a big bore kit. So basically you want to go up 2 sizes from where you were from the start. Go up 2 sizes. So it started off with a 105. I went to a 115. It started off with a 38 pilot. So we just kind of just left it. There's no point in changing it. All right, so let's put this back on here. All right, so now all we're going to do is get the old carburetor out and get this new one in. And as you see right here, this has a adjustment that raises up and down. So we actually can, I don't know if you can see that or not. Let's see if this shows it to you. I'm going to go all the way in. I don't think it's going to show you. Me moving my hand too much. All right, I'm in all the way. 1, 2, and 3 turns. We'll leave it at 3 turns. I won't mess with the, actually, let's go ahead. So with this needle screw, you're supposed to go all the way in. That's kind of snug. So 1, 2, we'll kind of just go with that. We'll go with 2. If anything, we can just make one more turn and we should be good. So actually, let's just do one more. Let's do 2 and bam. We'll just leave it right there. It's a pretty good start, and we will run with that and then get this installed. So let us go and take off the old one and put this one in. Okay guys, so we're back. So we're going to go ahead and start taking this apart. We're going to start by, you guys probably seen this 100 times, but we're going to start by taking off the fuel. It's always a mess. Always a mess. Let's get that off there. All right. Go ahead and take this off. We have to pull this line out. Actually, fun fact, not really fun fact, but just a FYI, I did actually, even though I was going to up this pilot in the main jet to a 150 to see if that took away the bog, actually, so when I ordered the main jet, we were going to do a 150 because we figured that would be the tap. That was the max on this carburetor, was a 150. That's as high as you can go. So we figured if we went to a 150, we would take away the bog. So then we realized that was the time before I realized that this was just too big. But the jet came in anyway. So I figured, let's just see what happens if I do a 150 in this. And I actually did. And it actually wasn't too bad. It didn't take away all the bog, but it gave me more room for throttle. So it didn't completely take away all the all the bogginess, but it did give me more turn. Because before I only had like a little tiny sweet spot, but then when I put that 150 in there and kind of got it adjusted a little bit, I went from like just a little bit to actually giving it a little bit more room to turn. And then it wasn't too bad, but I know that wasn't the right way of doing it because we were dumping like a lot more fuel into the motor. But I just thought I'd try it just to see what would happen, and it actually took away a little bit of the bogginess, but it didn't take away all of it. So just rule of thumb, we tried. So now we're gonna take this off, and we're gonna reutilize this little breather line on the new one, just so that way we have a breather tube for it, and then no rainwater gets in there or anything. So we're gonna take this out, and what we're gonna do is we're gonna test fit this to make sure, test fit the new one to make sure that it actually fits. So this is out. So we're gonna take this off here, this little breather tube. We're not gonna need it anymore. And we're going to reinstall it on the bike. So, and actually I put it on the, that's okay. We'll put it on this side. And yeah, so I thought it's going to be a little big. Yeah, that's too big. So we'll get a smaller hose, and we'll use this for the breather tube. But let's test fit this to make sure this is all going to fit. I was a little worried since the thing was a little smaller, but oh no, it actually fits quite well. Let's see if the air side's gonna fit pretty good. Oh yeah, it's gonna fit just fine. I was a little worried that these, since it's going from a 28 to a 24, that these hoses wasn't gonna fit, but they actually fit up really good. So I'm okay, guys. So we're back, and we got it nice and all set. I'm using the same line that I had from my 18cc bike, and we got the vent hose, and now we're gonna get it installed. There, put this on. It's actually looking pretty good. All right. And other thing I forgot to mention. There's a needle in here. We'll show you in a sec. We're gonna leave it where it is in the middle, because we're gonna start with that, and then if anything, if we have to change it, we can just change it. So, and it's pretty cool that this thing comes with 2 needles. So we got 1 needle, and then we got another one if we need it. And we're gonna hold on to the 28 millimeter. Because if we ever decide to go bigger motor in the future, which my brother has thought about maybe changing this out to a 150 G wide 6, which would actually bolt up and everything like that. Short block, not long block, short block, because this is a short block. So if we ever go to a 150 GY6 motor, we decide to just upgrade this, then we could use that Mikuni 28 and big bore that 150 and all the stuff like that to get it up higher, and then that would actually work pretty well. So that's why we want to keep it, because we don't want to get rid of it. It's a perfectly good carburetor, just don't want to chuck it just because we're not using it. So get this line down here. All right, we got the line down. Line. The only thing left is to put the fuel, and then we're going to take this off, and then we're going to show you guys the inside. All right, guys, so we're going to take this off. going to show you guys the inside. This is spring loaded, so don't want to let go of it too soon. So get this off. Now we're ready. Pull this out. You can see here's the spring with a little clip where the wire goes. You see a little notch. Comes with this own little gasket. Let me set this to the side. And here comes the slide. And this was really cool because the one on the nib is actually clipped down. This isn't clipped down. This is actually just comes up just like that. And then as you see, the notches. I don't know if you could see that very well, but the notches. This is right in the middle, so I can go 2 down and 2 up. So we're gonna keep it in the center for right now and see what it does, and then we'll go from there. So now we are going to try and get the new wire into this little sleeve. So here we go. Okay guys, so we're back. So we are going to remove the nibs cable and everything. We're going to keep the nib line, but we're going to take this out and replace it with the new one. So let's go ahead and pull this out. Lift this up ever so gently, one piece at a time, kind of remove. Trying to see if I can grab this line here without it snapping back. Alright, got that. Alright, and then we're just gonna pull this out. So then we will take our new line, stick this through the hole, whew. I was a little worried there for a minute. I was a little worried. Not worried now, but I was. Alright. So let's see. Square ends here. So there we got this. Alright, let's see. So now we're going to stick this through. Hopefully this will go. So this goes in a certain way. It's got to go in this keyway like an actual fit. So we got to make sure we turn it, make sure we get it straight. So it needs to go like that. So we're going to push this through. And then if we can grab it, pull this all the way in. I think I'm not going to, oh, never mind. Alright. Then we're going to stick this in the hole. It needs to get locked in pretty good. Ugh. These things are tight. And they're tough. Really, really, really tough. Okay, let's see. Trying to find a better way of getting this spring tight. Whew, these things are tough. They are tough, tough, tough. Just don't got enough oomph. Here, hold on a sec. I'm gonna use these pliers and get it back as much as I possibly can. And then I'm going to take our wire, hold it back, just trying to let it go, push in as tight as we can, like so. I'm going to take our tool, and don't forget our needle. Got our needle right here. Put that in the hole. Stick this in the hole. I got it. And you now stick this in the keyway, just like that. Boom! It's in there. All right. That was a little nerve-wracking. So what I gotta do is just flip this around. This goes in the hole here, and this gasket, which I probably demolished. Let me take our screws. Oh, Daniel, no wonder you're not going on there. I've got you on backwards. I didn't even realize it until I was wondering why I wasn't fitting. So we're going to turn this. Get this here, here, and here. Right that. There we go. All right, now we're going to tighten it down. Give it a turn. Very nice. Yeah, I think we're good. Let's take this off just to make sure everything is good. Should save that for last. Yep, everything's good. It's nice and turning on there, and everything is really good. Guys, so we got the bike outside. We're going to, I had ran into some issues with this, but I think I got it. So let us see. Let's go ahead and get it started, see what happens. So I'm dealing with the rev high issue. I think I figured out why it's revving so high. So let me get my thing real quick. We're going to adjust this down just a little bit. All right, going up some more. All right, every so gently, just gonna raise it up. All right, there we go. Little pop, pop, pop. Let's go up a little bit more. Right about there. The wheel is somewhat spinning, but not spinning. Let's give it a little rev. But see, I'm getting a high rev, and it's taking forever for it to come back down. So it's just really tricky trying to get this thing to stay kind of calm, but it's a lot better than it was because it was revving super high and I could never get it to come back down. But if I turn this down just a little bit, turn this mixture screw down just a little bit, definitely have to listen. Definitely have to listen to it. But all right, let's turn up the idle just a little bit. It's taking a little bit of thing to get to it. You have to play with it, and you definitely have to mess with it when it's warm, because this thing will not do it during the cold. But just keep playing with it. I think I may have to go up to a bigger jet size, or not bigger jet size, but the needle might need to go just a little bit richer. Right now it's in the middle, so I may have to go just a little bit more rich, just a little bit. Just a little bit. Yeah, let's go a little richer. All right, so we're gonna have to go a little more richer. I think it seems to be running better now. I figured out what my issue was. So this thing was like revving super high right out of the gate, and I think it was due to this idle screw. The idle screw was in more, so as you turn it clockwise, it brings up the throttle. You turn it counterclockwise, it goes down. I think everything was like reverse than it was normally. So I think that was the issue, was I was doing it the normal way, like maybe clockwise or counterclockwise. So whatever it was quite the opposite. So like when I was twisting it in, I was thinking the more you twist it in, you would let it out. But actually when you turn it clockwise, it goes up, and counterclockwise goes down. So when I had it in here, I had it turned all the way up. So that was part of the reason why it was revving so high. But then when I realized that, I said, let me just see what happens if I just turn this idle screw completely out where it's not even touching the lifter of the throttle. And as soon as I did that, I got it running. I was able to tune it a little bit more better. And I'm actually taking it on a couple of spins, and it seems to be running okay, but it's sputtering just a little bit. As you could hear, it go, you can hear it sputtering just a little bit. Now, I think that's because it needs more fuel, and I'm at the max on the Pilot and the max on the main, so I may have to go to a 120. But what we're going to do is we're going to change this needle. We're going to go down 1, which will make it just a little more richer. So we're going to try that before we go up to before we go change the main jet. Because I think what we're going to do is we're going to use that little tiny jet. We're going to put a 120 in and see how that does. So what we're going to do right now is we're going to take this out. We're going to go down 1 on the needle, making it just a little richer. And we're going to see if that takes care of the sputtering. If it doesn't take care of the sputtering, we'll either go all the way down, or then we'll go to a 120. And if we go to 120, I think that'll take care of the issue, because the bigger jet, the main jet's great. It's not going to, I don't think it can go any more. I can go more on the Pilot jet, but I think the Pilot jet's okay where it's at. I think we just need to go up on the main just a little bit. I think it needs just a little bit more fuel, because of this cold air intake that's just sucking in a whole lot of air, and it's just not matching it right. So let us get into that. All right, guys, so we're back. So we have our needle, and it's right smack dab in the center. So we're going to go down 1 just to see if that's going to take care of our issue. I don't want to lose this, so we're going to stick this right here. Try to get this thing off. These slip clips are really... So we were in the middle. We're going to go down 1. Hey. All right. Don't want to lose this thing. Now this thing's tough to get on here. There we go. All right. Oh, hold on. I just went right back to the middle. Went through all that, and then I realized. All right, so now we're down 1 needle. We just went down 1, and now we're gonna put it back in our thing here. So you don't really have to take this whole entire thing off. I find it, because this thing doesn't have a clip. So this little white piece here is holding down the actual. It's actually holding down the actual pin. Of course, I just probably popped it out of its thing, which I just did. So now it's going to be extremely difficult. All right, let me get back. Let me fix this and I'll get right back. All right, guys, so we're back. We got it back on here. It's a little difficult, but we got it back. And now we're going to give it another start and see if that makes it any better. So let's give it a start. Okay. Interesting. All right, let's get over it. Height of the screw was low. It went down a little bit. I guess I had to turn it up more because I added more fuel. So where it was sitting at was not a good place. So, all right, let's try and tune this thing. All right. Alright, still got the wheel still spinning. I think that's with the idle. Alright, I think I'm gonna leave the idle where it is. I'm just gonna mess with the mixture. Alright, it's slowly getting there. It's a little rich. I can even smell it, but I think it's running a little more better. But man, no more bog. No more bog. No more bog. I just gotta deal with the sputter, and it wants to take off on its own, and it keeps coming down like it wants to die, but it stays right there. I just gotta get that mixture correct. I think if I go a bigger jet, I think that might take care of it. Go to like a 120, and I think it'll be a lot more fuel, and it'll be a little more easier to mix with more fuel coming in, and maybe because I think the problem I'm dealing with is more air and less fuel. So yeah, I think I'm dealing with a more air, less fuel kind of thing, because that cold air intake sucking in so much air. I think I need more I need to compensate on the fuel in order to even it out. So we're gonna give this another ride around, see how it feels. If it still feels kind of the same, I think we're going to change the main jet to a 120, and then I think that would maybe do another adjustment. I think that will take care of it, you know, kind of sputtering just a little bit, because I think it's just starving for more fuel because of the air. It's just to go compensate it. So I think that's what we're going to do. Plus, I think it could be starving because I got air in this line. I think I need to get this air out, because there's an air bubble. I'm sorry, I'm not even showing it to you. See this air bubble, this long air bubble? That could be my sputtering issue. It's still sucking in the fuel, but I think it's causing it to sputter. Maybe I need to get this air out and then try it again and see what happens. But let's get ourselves set up, and then we'll go take it for a spin. I'll be right back. Okay, guys, so we're back. Got taken it for a spin. I think going up on the main jet is going to be the goal. I have a 115 main jet in there right now. It's it's not boggy, but trying to get that mixture of air and fuel right is a bit touchy. So I think I found the sweet spot. But when I try to give it with some load, like with me sitting on it and trying to give it a rev, it kind of wants to die a little bit because it's struggling trying to pick up that extra power. So I think because you also want it to set not only just because you're not sitting on it, but you need to also, I feel like sometimes you need to fix the load, fix it so it has a load. So basically, you get it adjusted right to where if you're sitting on it and you're sitting at a light and you need to take off, it's going to take off with your weight and the bike. Because if you set it to where you're not sitting on it, it's going to run fine because there's no load. But the moment you put it on the ground, it dies or it struggles. So that letting you know that you need to turn it up a little bit because obviously you sitting still or you putting a load on the motor is causing it to die. So we need to go up. I think that's the best bet. I think if we go up on this main, leave the pilot where it is, go up on the main, maybe even go down one more on the needle, I think we will get enough fuel to compensate with this air. And I think that's what we're going to do next. So let's give it a try. It can't hurt. I think it'll do it. We're going to try and use the little mini 120 jet. Hopefully this works too, because this will be a good experience. Because if it doesn't work, that means I actually have to go buy the bigger long one that's in there. I'll have to go get another set of those just to make this thing work. But I'm hoping that using the little mini ones, it'll work just fine. So that's what we're going to do. So stay tuned. Okay, guys, we are back. It has been several days since I've been figuring with this, whatever the moments I've had, off and on. Come to a conclusion. I think this bike is ready for the big board. I just feel like this 50cc is just kind of rinky-dink, and I think it's time to go bigger. I've tried tuning this thing. I cannot get this thing to stay idling. I can't stay consistent. I can't stay comfortable. It's either too high or too low. And then if I get a sweet spot, it doesn't stay that long. So I'm under the impression that I think it's going to be time to upgrade this thing. I've messed with this thing quite a bit. It's running now. I've taken it for a few spins. I just can't get this thing consistent. I don't know what it is. Even though I went to the 21mm carburetor, which me and the guy from Rolling Ridge had thought, but it was still kind of boggy. So I went to it's the max I could go on it, which is I went to a 38 Pilot and a 115 main. And I did go 120, and that seemed to give it some juice, but it's just overly rich. So I could try to go up on the needle jet, but I don't want it to be too lean. I'd rather it be more rich than lean. So I think with the setup that I have, because I'm still using the nib manifold and the nib air filter on this Mikuni 21mm, it could be too much air. It's a good possibility, just too much air in this intake. And I think with the 50cc, it's just having a hard time keeping up because this thing over revs. When I get it working and running, it over revs, and I can't get it to come down. I can't get it to stay consistent. It's just not wanting to cooperate. So I'm not for sure what we're gonna have to do. My only guess is to go big bore. Take this thing out, go big boy. Let's go to a bigger displacement. Maybe that might help with the fuel to air ratio. I'm gonna do some more checking. I'm gonna do some more research. I just think that this 50cc needs to be with the 18. I need to leave it at an 18 if I want to get it perfectly running right and use the jets that I have instead of using the jets that came with it, and then try it again. But I like this setup, and I really don't want to change it. So it's really cool with the air intake. Maybe I could change it to a foam filter, or just take the filter off and put it directly on the bike maybe get rid of the tube and just stick the pipe, just stick the air filter right on the end of the throttle. Some people have taped up the air filter, this cold air intake air filter. Some people have taped it up and left just a little bit of air flow into it, and then they said that worked. That's a good possibility. It's just too much air and not enough displacement, because the needle jet is right in the middle. I could go rich. I could try it. I could just change the needle jet to a little richer and see if that helps, or maybe go a little leaner. Maybe that might help. Because I tried going down on the pilot jet. I went down to a 35, and that thing did not like it at 35. It did not like it at 35. It was bogging and everything. So it didn't like it at 35. It likes it at 38. Seems to be pretty good. I could go any higher. I think it's going to be too much. If I go to a 40, that might be too much. I went to a 120 on the main. That did pretty good with the power, but it just smells so rich. I guess maybe that's supposed to be. Maybe I shouldn't worry about it so much being so rich, but just worry about it running. Because I want it to stay cool. I don't want it to be too hot. Because right now it's pretty hot. So I don't know. We'll figure this out. But I think we're going to go to the big bore. I think we've waited long enough. I've already changed these. I've already changed these rollers, the transmission rollers out. I've already changed these out to a lighter one, to a 7 gram. It's okay. I think the clutch setup needs to be in place with that, and then I need to get the exhaust to be de-restricted. That might release some of that pressure, because it seems like it's just a lot. It just doesn't seem like it wants to. Here, I'm gonna start it up and let you guys hear what it sounds like. Maybe you guys in the comments can help me out. Okay, guys, we are back. It has been several days since I've been figuring with this, whatever the moments I've had, off and on. Come to a conclusion. I think this bike is ready for the big bore. I just feel like this 50cc is just kind of rinky-dink, and I think it's time to go bigger. I've tried tuning this thing. I cannot get this thing to stay idling. I can't stay consistent. I can't stay comfortable. It's either too high or too low. And then if I get a sweet spot, it doesn't stay that long. So I'm under the impression that I think it's going to be time to upgrade this thing. I've messed with this thing quite a bit. It's running now. I've taken it for a few spins. I just can't get this thing consistent. I don't know what it is. Even though I went to the 21mm carburetor, which me and the guy from Rolling Wrench had thought, but it was still kind of boggy. So I went to it's the max I could go on it, which is I went to a 38 Pilot and a 115 main. And I did go 120, and that seemed to give it some juice, but it's just overly rich. So I could try to go up on the needle jet, but I don't want it to be too lean. I'd rather it be more rich than lean. So I think with the setup that I have, because I'm still using the nib manifold and the nib air filter on this Mikuni 21mm, it could be too much air. It's a good possibility, just too much air in this intake. And I think with the 50cc, it's just having a hard time keeping up, because this thing over revs. When I get it working and running, it over revs, and I can't get it to come down. I can't get it to stay consistent. It's just not wanting to cooperate. So I'm not for sure what we're gonna have to do. My only guess is to go big bore. Take this thing out, go big boy. Let's go to a bigger displacement. Maybe that might help with the fuel to air ratio. I'm gonna do some more checking. I'm gonna do some more research. I just think that this 50cc needs to be with the 18. I need to leave it at an 18 if I want to get it perfectly running right and use the jets that I have, instead of using the jets that came with it. and then try it again. But I like this setup, and I really don't want to change it. So it's got a really cool. It's really cool with the air intake. Maybe I could change it to a foam filter, or just take the filter off and put it directly on the bike. Maybe get rid of the tube and just stick the pipe, just stick the air filter right on the end of the throttle. Some people have taped up the air filter, this cold air intake air filter. Some people have taped it up and left just a little bit of air flow into it, and then they said that worked. That's a good possibility. It's just too much air and not enough displacement, because the needle jet is right in the middle. I could go rich. I could try it. I could just change the needle jet to a little richer and see if that helps, or maybe go a little leaner. Maybe that might help. Because I tried going down on the pilot jet. I went down to a 35, and that thing did not like it at 35. It did not like it at 35. It was bogging and everything. So it didn't like it at 35. It likes it at 38. Seems to be pretty good. I could go any higher. I think it's going to be too much. If I go to a 40, that might be too much. I went to a 120 on the main. That did pretty good with power, but it just smells so rich. I guess maybe that's what it's supposed to be. Maybe I shouldn't worry about it so much being so rich, but just worry about it running. Because I want it to stay cool. I don't want it to be too hot. Because right now it's pretty hot. So I don't know. We'll figure this out. But I think we're going to go to the big bore. I think we've waited long enough. I've already changed these. I've already changed these rollers, the transmission rollers out. I've already changed these out to a lighter one, to a 7-gram. It's okay. I think the clutch setup needs to be in place with that, and then I need to get the exhaust to be de-restricted. That might release some of that pressure, because it seems like it's just a lot. It just doesn't seem like it wants to. Here, I'm gonna start it up and let you guys hear what it sounds like. Maybe you guys in the comments can help me out. All right, so let me start this thing up while it's still hot. Hopefully it'll just kick right on. So yeah, it's just a real pain in the butt to get this thing like tuned. Like, it definitely makes sense to get this thing tuned while it's warm. So there's the wheel. Let me give it a little rev. Now she want to act right. But if you can hear that, you hear that pop, 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 pop. Here, this actually makes it sound better. It smells like gas in my hand. It's just like super, super rich. It's hot too. Yeah, it smells like straight gasoline in my hand, but smoke. Yeah, it smells like straight gasoline in my hand. Yeah, I don't know. This has been a very trial and error bike. I've never had so much stuff thrown at it and still not act right. So, this tuning thing, it definitely is skill. You definitely got to know what you're doing tuning these bad boys. It's not exactly in swift and easy. Some people get these bikes and they get lucky and it runs and it works really well. But some people like me, I always got to go through the trial and errors. I never ever get anything that runs and works properly. I'm not even DIYing. This is just something that anybody else is doing. And I just still can't get this thing tuned right. It just doesn't want to cooperate. I'm hoping going to a big bore kit will take care of that. I'm just thinking of this displacement is just I mean, these parts going for this displacement is just way too much. I think once I go to a 90 millimeter, and you guys seen the videos, if you haven't seen the video for that, when I showed the big bore kit, it is a massive difference of size. So I'm wondering if this bad boy just needs a little bit more displacement, and to take care of it. And like I said, this whole entire this block from here down to right there gets complete. So this is where the piston's at, if you guys aren't familiar. And then the rocker arms and the cam sitting on top here. And I got a whole new cam, I got a whole new rocker set, I got a whole new displacement big bore kit. So hopefully with this setup here, with more air, more displacement, maybe it'll work out. But we will see. We'll see in due time. Sorry, my camera cut off on me. So when I get this going, we'll come back. I will do the video on showing you guys how to replace this big bore kit. I do think that's the way to go. I think that's the way we should probably go in this right direction, is go to a big bore kit. Go ahead and get this bad boy ready to do. We'll let it cool for a couple of days, come back, and then we'll hit it again. We'll take this whole thing apart. We'll take it off piece by piece, the top part, and then put it together and get this big bore kit ready for this bike, and then put it all back together, and hopefully everything comes together. So that's what I'm hoping for, and I hope it all works out. But thank you guys for watching. Please go check out my stuff. Follow me on Instagram. I do post sometimes on Facebook, but not too much. I more really do Instagram and YouTube. So thank you guys for watching. Sorry it's been a little choppy on this, but it's really trial and error trying to figure this out, and I want to show it to you guys. I'm very good at explaining, so when I get there I'll explain it to you, and hopefully I can show it to you as well. But it's just long-winded trying to show you what I can't when it's not working right. So thank you guys for watching. Have a good and blessed weekend, and I see you guys on the next fix.